Guys, it's Mrs. Beer here. And so, as you know, in our virtual Spirit Week, it is Crazy Hair Day. So, I'm going to wear my hair like this because it's the only way I can. Well, it's kind of like a unicorn horn like this, but, or it's crazy socks also, but think I'm going to wear it like this. So, I decided today, oh, look, I kind of look like Donald Trump there, like that. Okay. So, I'm going to do a read aloud today from Magic Treehouse. You may have heard this one before. It's A Day of the Dragon, number 14, and author is Mary Pope Osborne. I know that you guys can take AR test remotely if you do have access to the internet. I know a lot of us don't, so don't worry about it. Sit back, relax, and I'm going to read a couple chapters, and we'll see how we go. Day of the Dragon King, Magic Treehouse. Okay, here we go. Table of contents in the front tells us what the book's going to be about and what page to go to. Front cover, back cover, and spine. Prologue, which means the beginning, to tell us some things that we might need to know about the story. One summer day in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania, a mysterious treehouse appeared in the woods. 8-year-old Jack and his 7-year-old sister Annie climbed into the treehouse. They found that it was filled with books. Oh, I'd love to find a treehouse like that. Jack and Annie soon discovered that the treehouse was magic. It could take them to places in the books. All they had to do was point to a picture and wish to go there. Along the way, they discovered that the treehouse belonged to Morgan Le Fay. Morgan is a magical librarian from the time of King Arthur. She travels through time and space gathering books. In Magic Treehouse number 12, Polar Bears Past Bedtime, Jack and Annie solved the last of 4 ancient riddles and became master librarians. To help them with their future task, Morgan gave Jack and Annie secret library cards with the letters ML on them. Ooh, ML could also stand for Martinez Library. Jack and Annie's first 4 missions as master librarians are to save stories from ancient libraries. When their first adventure, entitled Magic Treehouse number 13, Vacation Under the Volcano, Morgan asked them to return to the treehouse in 2 weeks to go to China and save another story. Now, the 2 weeks are over. Day of the Dragon King. The Bamboo Book. There are some illustrations in here. Annie peeked into Jack's room. Ready to go to China, she asked. Jack took a deep breath. Sure, he answered. Bring your secret library card, Annie said. I have mine in my pocket. Yep, said Jack. He opened his top dresser drawer and took out a thin wooden card. The letters ML on it shimmered in the light. Jack dropped his card into his backpack and then he threw it in his notebook and a pencil. Let's go, said Annie. Jack pulled on his pack and followed her. What are we in for today? He wondered. Bye, Mom, said Annie as she passed their mom in the kitchen. Where are you going? She asked. China, said Annie. Great, said their mom. She winked at them. Have fun. Do you think Mom believes them? Fun, thought Jack. He was afraid that fun wasn't actually the right word. Just wish us luck, he said, as he and Annie headed out the front door. Good luck, their mom said. If only she knew we weren't pretending, Jack whispered to Annie. Yeah, said Annie, grinning. Outside, the sun shone brightly. Birds sang, crickets chirped. Jack and Annie walked up their street towards the Frog Creek woods. I wonder if the weather will be this nice in China, Annie asked. I don't know. Remember, Morgan said this could be a very scary adventure, said Jack. They're always scary, said Annie, but we always meet animals who'll help us or people. True, said Jack. I bet we'll meet someone great today, said Annie. Jack smiled. He was starting to feel excited now instead of scared. Let's hurry, he said. They ran into the Frog Creek woods. They slipped between the tall trees until they came to a huge oak. Hello, came a voice they knew well. They looked up. Morgan was peering down from the magic treehouse. Ready for your next mission as master librarian? She asked. Yes, said Jack and Annie. They grabbed the rope ladder and started up. Are we going to China? Asked Annie. When they climbed into the treehouse. Indeed, said Morgan. You're going to ancient China. Here's the title of the story you must find. She held up a long, thin strip of wood. It looked like a ruler, except it had strange writings on it instead of numbers. Long ago, the Chinese discovered how to make paper. It was one of the world's most important discoveries, said Morgan. But you're going to a time earlier than that, to a time when books were written on bamboo strips like this. Wow, said Annie, pointing at the figures on the bamboo. So this is Chinese writing? Yes, said Morgan. Just as we have letters, Chinese writing is made up of many characters. Each one stands for a different thing or idea. These characters are the title of an ancient Chinese legend. You must find the first writing of the legends before the Imperial Library is destroyed. Hurry, let's go, said Annie. Wait, we need our research book, said Jack. Yes, you do, said Morgan. From the folds of her robe, she pulled out a cover. On the cover was the title, The Time of the First Emperor. Morgan handed the book to Jack. This research book will guide you, she said. But remember, in your darkest hour, only the legend can save you. But we have to find it first, said Annie. Exactly, said Morgan. She handed Jack the bamboo strip and he slipped it into his pack. Jack pushed his glasses into place and then pointed at the cover on the research book. I wish we could go there, he said. And the wind started to blow, and the treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster, and everything was still. Absolutely. Chapter 2. The cowherd. Oh, wow, Annie said. These clothes feel so soft. And look, I have a pocket for my secret library card. Jack opened his eyes. Their clothes had magically changed. They no longer wore jeans, t shirts, and sneakers. Instead, they had on baggy pants, loose shirts, straw shoes, and round hats. Annie's shirt had a pocket on it. Jack saw that his backpack had become a rough cloth sack. Instead were his research book, his notebook, his library card, and the bamboo strip. Cows, said Annie, looking out the window. Jack looked out too. The tree house had landed in a lone tree in a sunny field. Cows grazed, and a young man stood watching over them. Excuse me. At the edge of the field was a farmhouse. Beyond the house was a walled city. It looks so peaceful, said Annie. You can never be sure, said Jack. Remember, Pompeii looked peaceful before the volcano went off. Oh, yeah, said Annie. Let's see what the book said Jack. He reached in the sack and pulled out the China book. He opened it and read aloud. Over 2,000 years ago, China was ruled by its first emperor. Because he chose the dragon to be his symbol, he was called the Dragon King. In China, dragons are seen as brave and powerful creatures. Dragon King? That sounds a little scary, said Jack. I like his outfit, said Annie. Next to the writing was a picture. It showed a man wearing a rich flowing robe with wide sleeves. He also wore a tall hat with beads hanging from it. Jack pulled out his notebook and wrote, First Emperor, called Dragon King. The book we need must be in the Dragon King's library, said Annie. I bet his palace is in that city. Jack looked up. Right, he said, and that's how to get there. He pointed across the field to a dirt road that led to the walled city. Good plan, said Annie. She climbed out of the treehouse and started down the rope ladder. Jack threw the china book and his notebook into his sack. He slung the sack over his shoulder and followed Annie. When they reached the ground, they started through the field. Look, that guy's waving at us, said Annie. The man tending the cows was shouting and waving. He started running toward them. Uh-oh, what does he want? Said Jack. A moment later, the man stood in their path. He was young and handsome with a kind face. Can you do me a great favor? He asked. I would be most grateful. Of course, said Annie. Give a message to the silk weaver. You will see her at the farmhouse, said the young man. Tell her to meet me here at twilight. Sure, no problem, said Annie. The young man smiled. Thank you, he said, and then he started to leave. Wait, excuse me. Do you know where we will find the Imperial Library? A look of horror crossed the man's kind face, like, oh, horror, like really upset and scared. He whispered. Oh, I just wondered, said Jack. The young man shook his head. Beware of the Dragon King, he said. Whatever you do, beware. Then he turned and ran back to the cows. Oh, man, whispered Jack. Now, sorry. Now we know one thing for sure. What? Said Annie. This place is not as peaceful as it seems. Oh, this crazy hair is getting in my way. Chapter 3. The Silk Weaver. Jack and Annie kept walking across the pasture toward the road. Annie stopped when they neared the farmhouse. We have to find the silk weaver and give her the message, she said. Let's do it on our way back, said Jack. I'm worried about finding the Imperial Library. What if we don't have time, said Annie. We promised, and he was so nice. Jack sighed. Okay, he said, but let's find her fast. And remember to keep your head down so no one will notice us. Jack and Annie bowed their heads as they headed toward the house. As they got closer, Jack peeked out from under his hat. An ox pulled a cart filled with hay. Men hoed the ground. Women pushed wheelbarrows piled high with grain. There, said Annie. She pointed to an open porch where a young woman was weaving cloth on a loom. That must be her. Annie ran to the silk weaver. Jack looked around to see if anyone was watching. Luckily, all the farm workers seemed too busy to notice anything. Still, looking around carefully, Jack walked toward the porch. Annie was already talking to the silk weaver. What did he say? The woman asked. Her voice was soft but strong. Her dark eyes glowed with happiness. He said you should meet him in the field at twilight, said Annie. The silk weaver gave Annie a shy smile. Then she reached down to a basket near her loom and picked up a ball of yellow thread. It was very brave of you to bring the message, she said. Please accept this silk thread as my thank you. She handed Annie the ball of silk. It's beautiful, said Annie. Feel. She handed it to Jack. The thread was smooth and soft. How do you make silk? Asked Jack. It is it is made from the cocoons of silkworms, said the weaver. Really? Worms? That's neat, said Jack. Let me write that down. He reached into a sack. Please don't, the silk weaver said. The making of silk is China's most valuable secret. Anyone who steals a secret will be arrested. The Dragon King will have him put to death. Oh boy. Oops, said Jack. He dropped the ball of silk into his sack. I think you must leave quickly, whispered the silk weaver. You have been seen. Jack looked over his shoulder. A man was pointing at them. Let's go, he said. Bye, said Annie. Good luck on your date. Thanks, the silk weaver said. Come on, said Jack. They hurried away from the silk weaver. Stop, someone shouted. Run, said Annie. Okay, tomorrow we will start on chapter 4, which is called The Great Wall, the Great Wall of China. Okay, so that is our lesson for today. We will pick it up tomorrow on chapter 4. We should be able to finish it within our 15 minutes of video. And hope you guys have a great crazy hair day. And what if I started wearing my hair like this at school? It'd be kind of cute, huh? Anyway, no, actually don't think it is. What if I was like, yeah, I mean, I could color this part like purple or something, and then I could just have it like this, and then it would be like purple in just the front part. So it didn't look, I kind of, oh, that's cool. I look like I have short hair there. Anyway, hope everybody's doing good. I can't remember what tomorrow's virtual day is. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up really quick. Be patient with me. I look like a totally different person with that. It's so funny. Okay, so tomorrow's virtual day is, well, R. Martinez. Let's see. Tomorrow's virtual day is Wednesday. Dress like a superhero. Woohoo! Thanks to healthcare workers and first responders for being superheroes. I might wear my Superwoman stuff if I can find it, because I don't have anything to dress like a nurse or a firefighter. But I do have some stuff to dress like superhero. Anyway, hopefully you guys are doing well. Still miss you, and see you soon. I guess I'll post the rest of the book tomorrow, so you guys can take the AR test on it if you have electronics, and then yeah, we'll see what. Oh no, tomorrow's two. Yeah, no, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, we'll see what Thursday brings. Okay, love you guys. Bye.